Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this next section, I'm going to kind of revisit that spaced practice a little bit. I'm going to talk about building a routine, and in particular, how do you avoid that cram panic the night before? So routine beats cramming. Routine will beat cramming every single time. But most importantly, how do you build that routine? Because let's be honest, cramming the night before, it's already making the exam stressful. You're just going to be so much more stressed that it's not going to help you. So you need to build a revision routine. Now, I'm sure your teachers have talked to you, your tutors have talked to you on and on and on about how to do a little bit of work and make this a revision timetable. Now, I'm not saying a revision timetable here, I'm saying a revision routine. You don't need to study for hours and hours every single day. Just 30 to 45 minutes, 2 or 3 times a week can make just such a massive difference, especially if you start early. So I'm not talking here about using up all of your after school time every single day, all your weekends. This is just building the revision routine. So the idea here is I've got for you a revision planner to help you space out your learning. So here's an example of one, and you can grab your free download from this session with this. You can change the times. You don't need to pay for a revision planner. It takes seconds to mock up one of these in Word or whatever you prefer, or even just hand draw one. So the idea of this is to have a little look, know your school timetable, know what days you're going to be in school. Some of you might be early birds and want to do some work in before school session. Some of you may have other school commitments. So the whole point of this is just to look at how to make a revision timetable. So here's an example. Sorry about that, I was just changing my pen over. If you're an early bird and you know that you've got a bit of time before school, or you're one of these people that gets to school a little bit early and you know the library's open from 8 o'clock in the morning, you might want to spend half an hour in the morning doing something. I personally, I'm not a morning person. So in my personal timetable, I would not have anything before school because my brain doesn't actually work in the morning. But I know some of you might have things like swimming in the morning, or you may have other activities that you do, and that's absolutely great. So the next thing is, you'll notice on the side here, I've scheduled in half-hour sessions, because the best way to focus your work is to do 25 minutes of really good focus revision, do a blurt, go through your flashcards, something like that, and then have a 5-minute break so you're ready to hit the next session. So what things you might put in is you might be really on it, and you might get home between 4 and 4:30, and actually you're going to spend between 4 and maybe to 5 doing something like homework. And you're going to do that on a Monday. I'm going to write it as HW here, a Wednesday and a Friday. They are your homework days. It might be that you have an after-school commitment on a Tuesday. So you might have some kind of sporting event. So you football. Okay, so you might have footy practice after school on Tuesday. On a Thursday, though, do you know what? You're going to give yourself a break and you're going to let yourself have some free time. It could be TV, gaming, social media, watch an episode of something. So you might want to give yourself a break on a Thursday. So I'm just going to write that as free time. So as you're building this timetable up, it needs to be something you can actually stick to. You notice here, I haven't actually put any time in for revision yet. Depending on your family routine, your family might always have dinner at a set time. So say dinner's between usually 5:30 and 6, and it's the same time every day. It all depends on different families. Everybody has different dinner times depending on when people get back from work. So for example, you might reserve 5:30 to 6 to have dinner, because it's really important to eat well and then fuel the brain. Now you're moving into your different revision sessions. So deciding on what you're going to revise and when and for what time, you can start planning in your half-hour sessions. So 6 to 6:30 on a Monday might be biology revision. Then you might want to do chemistry revision there, physics revision there, because you know you work best at between 6 and 6:30. Because you had footy practice on a Tuesday, you definitely need to get that homework sorted, because I can guarantee that teachers have set you something as homework every single day. And Thursday, you haven't done any homework yet as well, so make sure you schedule in some homework time there. So like I said, you can fill this in as you see fit. Tuesday here has been quite a busy day so far. You've had school, you've had footy practice, so you might want to give yourself some free time, maybe here at 8 o'clock, to do something you enjoy doing. Now, I am fully aware that I've written 9 p.m. bedtime routine. I am fully aware that no teenager goes to bed at 9 o'clock at night. But that's the reason why I've written bedtime routine. Getting those good sleep habits in are very, very important. Things like having no screen time. Things like just going, having a shower, having a bath, something like that. So making sure that you have some downtime, that's really, really important. So again here, you can fill in these sessions and you can decide what works for you. So like I said, it doesn't need to be for hours and hours every day. I would probably say pick 3 half-hour sessions a day. That's only an hour and a half. That's not much. I mean, what's that? 2 episodes of something that you might be binge watching at 9 p.m. because you won't go to bed till gone midnight. Come on, we all know you do it. So biochem physics, you might want to put English in. Obviously, you've got literature and language. You might want to put your French in, your history in. You can slowly build this up. Now, you'll notice the weekend, I've done a very different time schedule here. I've done hours at a time. Again, this doesn't have to be a be-all and end-all here. You don't have to go for something here where every single Saturday you're going to do something, because your parents are going to plan things for you to do. There will be things that you won't have a choice in what you do. You might have your great grandma's anniversary of I don't know what. So things will get sprung on you. It's what happens. You may forget that you've got an appointment to go somewhere at the weekend. But on the whole, try and see if you can fit in those sessions. So in my timetable here, I've done them as hour sessions. So these could be your 45-minute sessions. But again, they don't have to be the be-all and end-all here. You can cut these sessions in half to make them 30-minute sessions. If you're good in the morning, work in the morning. If you're good in the evening, work in the evening. But please, please, please don't be working past 9 p.m. Your brain will be tired after a whole day of being awake. So don't work past 9 p.m. The work you do after 9 p.m. will not help you. You're moving into sort of the cramming zone. So make sure you work this through. And it's a routine. It's a revision planner. It's a routine. It's not a timetable. Things will change. You may have to update this when you get closer to the exam time, because you might want to focus more on one subject than another. You may change up and maybe do a little bit more when it gets towards the exams and the mock exams, or you might find it's just not working. So actually you can change it up. The most important thing with a revision planner and planning for this routine is you don't spend hours and hours and hours making the timetable, sticking it to your wall, and then ignoring it. Okay, put it somewhere where someone can hold you accountable to it. So, give it to a parent, give it to someone in your family who can just pop in and check. Oh, you should be doing your biology work right now. Why have you got your history notes out? Or you should be doing your biology work right now. Why are you sat scrolling through Insta? So give it to someone who can hold you to account a little bit. And the other thing, the very, very important thing, helps me loads, set yourself a timer. So when you're going to do half an hour's revision, remember it's not a full half hour, it's 25 minutes, and then a 5-minute, get up, have a wiggle, have a drink, have a quick snack, get back on it. Make sure you set yourself timers. That is so, so important to helping you build that routine so that you're doing little and often, and you're using those active revision strategies that we talked about in a previous session. I hope that helps, and I'll see you in a later session.